Hi everyone, in today's tutorial we are going to be making this super simple and really easy crochet beanie. This is completely suitable for beginners. It only uses one stitch, which is the half treble crochet or half double crochet if you are in the US, and it works as a panel, so this doubles up and then we just work the stitches along this way and then we're going to join them and then cinch the hat up at the top and then put a pom-pom on it. These are going to make really good Christmas gifts, or if you wanted to make one for yourself. They do come in various sizes. I will insert a clip here of the size chart and how many chains that you need to make for each size. You're more than welcome to screenshot it, or it will be up on my blog. So let's grab what we need and start making. So for this tutorial you are going to need an Aran, which is a size 4 yarn in the US. Check out this. It's these that crack me up. So this one is a king hole and it's 400 grams, 800 meters, 880 yards, and it calls for a size 5 crochet hook, but we are going to be using a 5.5. If you don't have a 5.5, don't stress. You can either just use a 5, or if you want you can use a 6, but it will be a little bit more gappy. A pom-pom maker, if you don't have a pom-pom maker, you can just use some cardboard like you used to do when you were a kid, some scissors and a darning needle. So let's grab what we need and start making. So we are just going to start our project with a slip knot. I will leave a link in the card section to my beginner tutorials if you're a very beginner. That doesn't even make sense, but if you're brand new to crochet. So I'm going to be making the adult medium size, so I'm going to do 47 chains. So if you are doing a different size, just double check how many chains that you need. So we're just going to begin by chaining 47. So once you have your correct amount of chains, so in my case it's 47, we are just going to begin by doing a half treble crochet, which is a half double crochet in the US, in the second chain from the hook. So we never count the one on the chain. So 1, 2, and that's my second one there. So just yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. And again. And we are just going to do this all the way along our chain, just a half treble or a half double if you're in the US, all the way until you get to the end. So if you want to pause the video now and just complete your half trebles or half doubles, and I shall meet you when you get to the end of your foundation chain. So I'm just coming to the end of my foundation chain, and then in my case you should have 46 stitches, but yours might be a little bit different if you're making the different size. So once you've done your last half treble, you want to chain 1 and we're going to turn, and that is about as difficult as this gets. So let me grab this. We are going to be working in the back loops only. So if you see here, normally we pop our crochet hook into there. This time we're just going to be lifting up and working into that back loop rather than both of the 2 loops here. So we're just going to half treble or half double into that back loop. So yarn over, insert your hook into that back loop there, pull up a loop and pull through all 3, and we're just going to do that all the way along. So yarn over, insert your hook into that back loop, pull up a loop and yarn over. And what this does is this pushes the front of this stitch forward and it gives it our ribbed look. So you just want to work that all the way along until you get to the end of the row, just a half treble or half double into every stitch, into the back loops only of every stitch, and I shall meet you at the end. So I'm just coming to the very last stitch. Make sure you count, because sometimes in this very first or second row you can miss the last stitch, and then you want to chain one, turn, and we are just going to do exactly the same, just half trebles into those back loops, and that is basically the pattern. It is really easy and really simple, and the amount of rows you want to do depends on the amount of size, the size that you are making. So in my case, I am doing 46 rows. I think I just need to double check on that. I can't remember off the top of my head. So we're just going to do this until we have the correct number of rows for our size. So if you want to pause the video, and I shall meet you back when you have completed all those rows of half treble crochet or half double crochet back loops only. Chain one and then just turn your work. Really simple, really easy. So once you have completed your required number of rows for the pattern for the size that you are making, just go ahead and double check. So each one of these ridges, if you do it from this side where the first, there's not a ridge on the bottom, it's the second line, so that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and just count, so each ridge is 2. We are now, there we go. We are now going to join these two sides like so, and we are just going to make a tube, and then we can cinch up the top, make our pom-pom and pop it on. So to join these, we are simply going to slip stitch them together, but on one of the edges here, we're just going to work into the back loops only. So what I first like to do is just slip stitch across to this side, because it's easier to work from this side to this side rather than this side to this side. So we are simply going to pop our hook through the first stitch, and on the first stitch of the back row, we're just going to do back loops only. We're just going to slip stitch through there, and we're just going to do that all the way along, just into every stitch, just slip stitch into that back loop. And make sure all your work is lined up, because otherwise you'll end up with like one side longer than the other. So just carry on and slip stitch all the way across until you reach the end, and I will meet you back here. So I'm just coming to my very last stitch, and then you want to chain one, and we are going to tie this off, but what we're going to do is we're going to leave quite a long tail, because we're going to use this tail to cinch up our top. So just pull that through. And there you should have your tube. We are going to turn it inside out once we've done the top, but if you can see, by joining with just the back loop, so the seams here, so it looks like this on this side, but on this side, when it's the right way round, you're not going to notice it. So now we are just going to join up our top. So you want to grab your darning needle, get that threaded, and I'll meet you back here. So once you have your darning needle threaded, we are just going to work all the way around. Just if you made the pumpkin, the cottage core farmhouse style pumpkin, we're just going to do the same. So just in and out for every few rows until we get all the way around. So once you have gone all the way round, we can just pull this end. I'm just going to check from this side. Don't worry if it's got a bit of a hole in, because when we work our end in, we can close that gap. So just work your ends around, and then we can work across as well. So if you see any holes, we can just work around those and tighten them off. So just keep going round. And don't get a knot in it like I did. So just keep working on round until you're happy. And then you can always go across as well. And that will just tighten that up a little bit more. So once you are happy with the top of your hat, I'm just going to sew these ends in. And then we can get to the fun part, which is, I mean, all of it's fun, but we can do our pom-pom. Now we're going to turn this the right way round. And we have our beanie. So now we're just gonna make the pom-pom for the top and attach that, and then we're all done. So let's grab our pom-pom maker. I have the Clover pom-pom maker. This is the biggest size. I think the bigger the pom-pom, the better. This one is an 85. I'll leave the link to where you can get these below. If you don't have a pom-pom maker, you can just use cardboard and do it like the old-fashioned way, like you used to do when we were kids and you wanted to make a pom-pom. So if you've never used one of these before, or you've got one and you don't know how to use it, these just come apart like so, and they also open up like this. So open it up to start with, because we're just going to be winding our yarn around this part, and you can make them as big and fluffy as you like. Just make sure that these two are lined up. Let me put that one back in actually. And it doesn't matter if it comes out a bit uneven at the start, because we can always trim it down. So we're just gonna wind, wind, wind. You'll probably get motion sickness watching me do this. So just make sure you go all the way to the edge. So make sure you get your yarn into these bits. And then now what we're going to do, let me bring this up here so you can see, we're just going to close this, snip our yarn, and then we're going to carry on and do the same on the other side. So just open that one up and wind your yarn around this side just like you did on the other side. So once you have completed both sides, we're just going to take a piece of yarn, just snip it off, but make it quite a decent length, because we're going to use this to attach our pom-pom to our hat, and it's got to go around here, be tied a couple of times, and then we're going to use it, as I said, for our, so just have this at the ready. So I'm just going to pop that to one side, and then we take our scissors. This can be a bit tricky sometimes to start it off, and you want to put it, there's sort of like a ridge here, you'll be able to feel it, and just snippety snip. You can see, just pop your scissors and snip all the way around one side, and then all the way round. Other side, and you're left with this. Then we take our piece of yarn and we're going to pop it, oh, I've missed a bit, hang on. It's going to pop it in this ridge here. Just pull it all the way around. Like so, and then what I do is I tie it once and then just pull it really tight so it pulls all those fibres together, bring it round this side, super tight. I just knot it a couple of times on each side because I worry, not that I've had a pom-pom failure, but when you have a pom-pom failure, it's a bit of a nightmare. So just double knot it. And now it might help if I did this bit first. We can just pull our pom-pom apart. And then what you can do is just trim off and just even your pom-pom out a bit. Give it a bit of a haircut just to make it look nice and even. Ta-da! You have your finished pom-pom. And now what we're going to do with these bits is, sometimes I do it with a crochet hook, sometimes I do it with a needle. Let's give a go with the crochet hook. We're just going to find a spot near our middle. Pop your hook through, grab that, has it done it? Oh, I think I missed it. There we go. Pull through one side. And just check that it is sat in the middle over that hole. I'm probably doing this the most awkward way ever. There probably is an easier way. And then just check you're happy with where your pom-pom is sitting on your hat, and then we can just tie it on. And then just for a bit of extra security, I'm just gonna tie it on to these bits from earlier. And then you can snip that, and then you can either sew those bits in or leave it. And there you go, you have made your very own beanie, and it is so simple to do. So I hope you like that tutorial. If you do, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can also find me on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok. I've also got a blog where I leave the written pattern for this, so that'll be up as well if you prefer a written pattern. And that's it for this week. Take care and happy crocheting.